Happy Thanksgiving to you. This is Perkstream for November 23rd, 2022. It's irresistible. Well, hey, happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. I hope that as you're watching this, that you're preparing for the festivities. I also hope that you're encouraged by the past perk streams where we said that, you know what, in Jesus, we can be immersed in the Spirit of God and we can be filled with this thing that is not reserved for a spiritual elite, but is available to everyone who believes Jesus. I also hope that as you are living in the power of the Holy Spirit, that you will see faith and wisdom grow and understand that we cannot be squashed in any way by the powers that be. You know, when the church left Jerusalem, our brothers and sisters from another time and another place were being pushed out. They went to crazy places and they saw crazy things happen. Philip went to Samaria, and Samaritans believed the good news and began to follow Jesus. Peter went to the coast, the Mediterranean coast, and then he saw a vision of food he would never dream of eating any time in his life. And yet he did get up and go and be with Gentiles. And the Gentiles believed and were filled with the Holy Spirit. And it was crazy things happening. And then the craziest thing happened of all that Saul, the persecutor of the church, believed in Jesus. And he became the most ardent proponent for the church he was trying to shutter. Isn't that amazing? You know, there was a something happening because of the good news of the gospel of Jesus, and it was happening in them. And one pastor has used this term for it, and that term is irresistible. It attracted people from every social and economic status. It caught the attention of rulers and kings. It brought in the educated and the uneducated. Paul would say at one point that it brought in people who were of much account and of no account, and they all became part of this one gathering called the church. And it's that reminder that the promises of God are for every person, regardless of where they may fall in the human ladder system. Well, because of that, we need to remember this message that Jesus is Lord, and it's Jesus who set up the church to be what it is. And while this is good news, it's also a dangerous message because if we say Jesus is Lord, if a person in Paul's time said Jesus is Lord, that meant that Caesar was not Lord, and that's a political statement. For us, it means the economy is not Lord, politics is not Lord. It means that everything around us that calls to us is not Lord. But here's really the thing, here's the kicker. It means that I am not Lord. There's so much that happens in our life, both overtly and subtly, to direct us away from Jesus. And all those things can have an effect on us. And we could even say, well, it's because of that sin, or it's because of that person that I'm not following Jesus. Ultimately, Jesus isn't going to say, well, I guess I get what you're saying, so I'll pass you on that one. No, because every choice we make can either be a choice for Jesus or for ourselves, and only one of us can be Lord at any given time. So Jesus, for so many people, Jesus is a choice that they make when it's convenient for them. Otherwise, they say, I am the captain of my ship. I am the chooser of my destiny. I'm in charge of my fate. And I've heard more than one person say that in lifetime. And here, you know what's incredible? The Lord lets us make that claim. The Lord gives that to us as a choice because in his love, he lets us choose. Always we get to choose. And here's what he hopes we'll choose. He hopes we'll choose him and the gospel as the alternative to us being in charge. The good news is that Jesus continues to let us know the difference, invite us to know the difference that the gospel makes in any of our lives. And so if the gospel makes a difference, then we choose him. And the evidence and the witness that will go with that choice is what is going to make the gospel irresistible to others. They're not going to believe it. It's like, do you really believe that? Like, can you show me that? Is that really true? And you might wish that they could get it in church, but really where they're going to get it is being able to see it in your life and my life, that the gospel makes a difference. It is the power of God to the salvation for everyone who will believe, which includes us. So the answer is yes, the gospel does make a difference. And I know it because in my life, from the time that I said Jesus is Lord, I know that I have experienced the forgiveness of God. I have experienced the direction of God. I have experienced the infilling of God through His Holy Spirit. I have experienced things that the transformation and the reality of God's presence with me. And I have also experienced what happens when I choose to back off of that and try to be in charge for myself. And the good news is that God continues to bring me back to that place where He is Lord and I am not. And that power is the gospel at work in me. It's the gospel that can be at work in you, that I trust is at work in you. And that's what becomes irresistible to the world. The gospel at work in us is irresistible. And I'm just praying that you will continue to choose each day to live into this good news of the gospel that will make all the difference in your life and the life of those who hear. And as we do that, may we become a church. I just can't wait to see what happens as we as a church live into the gospel and become irresistible to those around us.